Huh.
Hey guys, Dane here at JONAH Guitars, and this is another one of those situations where I wasn't going to turn the camera on, and maybe I should center myself here. I wasn't going to turn the camera on, and then I started working on this thing, and I thought, now this is a situation that we should talk about. So here's the deal. It's an Ibanez. I'm not, you know, it's a nice guitar. It's actually in really pretty decent shape. So when the guy bought it, he said it was covered in nicotine. But it's a big jumbo, it's a hollow body. Got a floating bridge on it. I gotta adjust my camera. Okay, anyway, so I want to actually just get to the point here. I was going to just tap some frets down and do a setup on this and maybe glue a couple fret ends, because there was a couple fret ends that looked like they were pulling up a little bit. And so I rockered it, and you can see I have a couple pieces of tape there. Those two frets were high in the middle. They weren't really high, too high on the outside. Let me use a shorter edge. So, and they're not as high as they were originally. This one's got a pretty good click to it, but they were really only high in the middle. And I thought, well, you know what? I was going to file them. I thought, I'll just try tapping them down a little bit. And when I did that, literally just took my little fretting hammer, and I was tapping them down here. And then I noticed that not only were they high in the middle, but the ends were really rubbery feeling. And then when I looked closer, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, if there's any way I can get close enough. I really doubt it. But there's this green gunk coming out from under the fret. So I started tapping, put my visor on so I could see, and I started tapping around. And I started seeing, it didn't matter where I was, I just tapped a fret. And all the frets are loose on the ends. I'll go ahead and pull the camera off the pod here and see if I can show you this stuff. Anyway, so there's this green ooze slipping out. I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera and just pull it off the tripod, see if we can get in close enough to see it. Okay, it doesn't really look like I can see a lot in my viewfinder, but I find that generally when I can't see stuff, you can see it fine in the actual video. So right out at the end of that fret, you can see like a little black spot. That's this slime, and it's popping out all around the ends. And so I had it coming out all the way up the sides. I'm not sure where I'm at on the border, so the focus isn't very good either. So I've had it coming out the edges, you know, on both sides of a lot of frets. So okay, I'm going to pack you back up for a second. All right, so we're back here. So there's no point in me trying to glue. There's no point in me. Oops, going the wrong way. No point in me trying to glue these frets in, because it's just got this green sludge under the frets, and I suppose they had to come up a little bit before they could actually have any kind of anything go under the frets. Now they're, you know, you hear warnings all the time that you don't want to put too much oil on your fretboard, because you can really soak under your frets and loosen your fret slots up. Now the other day I was watching a video, and I totally respect the guy as a technician and all that, so I'm not saying this to even kind of create any sort of online debate or YouTube debate. But it's just casually made a comment that he doesn't tape fretboards, and I just commented back in the comments that I do, and I'll tell you, this is a couple of reasons why I tape fretboards. First of all, you have the little fretboard protector thing, and I'll zip you back over here. zoom in again. The reason I tape fretboards when I'm doing a setup, or not a setup, if I'm cleaning frets, more if I'm leveling and crowning and polishing, I'll tape a board off before I start any of the process. And the reason being is, first of all, I don't like holding, I should get into, there you go. I don't like holding this silly little thing on while I'm trying to file or sand or polish, right? And so when you get, obviously you can't oil a board with tape on it, but once you're to that point, then you peel the tape off. So when you don't have this on, then there's a good chance that whatever you're doing can get forced under the fret if there's any kind of elevation on the fret at all. Now, if the board has been liberally oiled in its lifetime, then there's a possibility that they have come up a little bit. I'm feeling an end right here on that guy. That's catching my thumb. It's up. Anyway, so for instance, block the camera, but I've got this. This is one of my favorite metal polishes here. I use the Happich semi-chrome as well, but this is actually a plastic polish, but it works really good on frets. It's called nano polish, and I'll tell you, it's green, and it looks like what's coming out of from under these frets. Now, I've never worked on this guitar before, never seen it before it came into the shop, so I didn't do it. But if you're polishing frets and you're not taped off, there's a really good chance that you can force that polish under the fret, and I think that's what's happened with this particular guitar. I think that got pushed under there. So this is kind of my way of saying that I think taping a board is a really good idea. And not to argue with anybody that disagrees, but it's just always more than one way to do something. And I found that for the time it takes me to tape a board off, I don't have to worry about accidentally damaging the board. Maybe I'm a clod or something, but I'm not damaging the board. I'm not rubbing dirt into the board. When you polish a fret, you're polishing also on top of the rosewood or ebony or maple, and you're shoving in these open grained woods like ebony, and more open grained than maple, ebony and rosewood, you're shoving that polish in there. Also, when you're just sanding on them, even with the little protector thing, you're actually, there's a gap there, so all that crud is getting under the protector and basically being jammed into the grain on the board. So that's it. That's all I was going to say about that. I don't know if I'll bring you back in on this one. I am going to do a fret on this. I'm going to check right here. I got a feeling, because of how much crud is crammed under here, that this isn't going to be an issue whatsoever getting the frets out, and I certainly don't think there's going to be any chipping. Here we go. I'm going to take the camera. I just pulled the fret. I'm going to take the camera off again and just give you a close-up of how much crap there is under this fret. Well, okay, there you go. So there's just, and like I said, I know you can see it better than I can looking through the viewfinder, but we've just got this green kind of gunk up under the fret right there. You can see, if you know anything about pulling frets, that just oozed out of there. There was no kind of friction or tear out. It just pretty much pulled right out of there very, very easily. Then you just got the gunk. Okay, that's it. I'll let you go with that, and take care, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.